In this video, we will show you how to bleed your brake fluid on your Jeep Grand Cherokee. You can find the right brake fluid on CarParts.com via the link in the description. For safety reasons, we strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Jeep Grand Cherokee safely. And if your Grand Cherokee is equipped with Quadra-Lift air suspension, you want to watch it. This will avoid damaging your suspension system. Activate the jack mode. Remove any residual vacuum or hydraulic pressure from the brake power booster by applying the brake several times with the engine off. Open the brake fluid reservoir. In the case of a complete bleeding of the brake fluid circuit, you must start by emptying the used fluid using a pump. Then fill the reservoir with new fluid to the maximum level. It should be pointed out that there are multiple types of brake fluid, so make sure you use the type recommended by the manufacturer. When you bleed the brake fluid circuit, there is a bleeding order to follow. On this vehicle, the order is as follows: passenger side rear wheel, driver's side rear wheel, passenger side front wheel, driver's side front wheel. You will therefore have to successively lift each part of your vehicle, then remove each wheel. Once the wheel is removed, you have access to the bleeder located on the brake caliper. Start by removing the stopping plug. Using a wire brush, brush the bleeder clean before applying penetrating oil to make sure you don't break the trap if it gets rusty. The simplest method, requiring the least amount of tools, is to use a container pre-filled with a little brake fluid. Dip a tube into the container. The brake fluid will prevent air from rising up the tube during bleeding operations. For the rear calipers, position a 10mm wrench on the bleeder. Connect the other end of the tube to the bleeder. Before opening the bleeder, gently pump the brake pedal a few times to pressurize the system. Once the pedal is hard, hold it down. At this time, open the bleeder to let the brake fluid drain. As fluid escapes from the bleeder, the pedal is depressed. Only when the bleeder is closed can you release the brake pedal. Repeat this operation until there is no more air in the system. It is important to regularly add brake fluid to the reservoir to prevent air from entering the master cylinder. When a clear, bubble-free liquid flows out, all you have to do is close the bleeder and disconnect the tool. Don't forget to clean the parts around the bleeder with brake cleaner to remove all traces of brake fluid. For the front calipers, perform the same operation, this time using an 11mm wrench. Take a wire brush and brush the bleeder clean before applying penetrating oil to make sure you don't break the trap if it gets rusty. You can also use brake bleeder wrenches connected to a tube fitted with a non-return system, which prevents air from re-entering the circuit. With this tool, simply pump the brake pedal gently to evacuate the air from the system and replace the old fluid with new. Once the circuit has been bled, close the bleeder and remove the tool. Don't forget to clean the parts around the bleeder with brake cleaner to remove all traces of brake fluid. Once all 4 wheels have been purged, fill the reservoir with new fluid to the maximum level. Once the bleeding is done, check that your brakes are working properly. The brake pedal should feel hard when pumped without being spongy. Don't forget to screw the brake fluid cap back on before starting the vehicle. Then you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. Put your vehicle back on the ground before properly fixing the wheels in place. If your Grand Cherokee is equipped with Quadra-Lift air suspension, you can now turn off the jack mode. Warning: if you have any concern about the effectiveness of your braking system, if the brake pedal remains soft after several bleedings, or if the brake or anti-lock indicator remains illuminated, do not use the vehicle and have it checked by a garage. Operation complete.